Don't be mad at anybody.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back to the show. We are so excited to have Liesel Darby joining us here today, better known as, well, the Crown Coach, the Crown Diva. She is my divorce diva and can be yours too at Crown Coaching. She's helping those going through the process of divorce, especially helping these women out, surviving not only the divorce, but the after the fact and what's going to happen, in your new life. And she can guide you here. And that's what she's doing with Crown Coaching. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Liesel Darby with Crown Coaching, my divorce diva. I am a certified alternative dispute resolution divorce coach, which means I can really help you to calm down the chaos and learn how to engage in conflict effectively so that you don't get stuck and you can keep moving forward. And as Jill said, it's not just during the divorce, but all the way afterwards too, for as long as you need help keeping things moving forward.
Oh, well, we're excited that you're back. As always, there's great conversations to be had, and really the benefits of this divorce coaching that you do clearly works. You've been doing it for quite some time, and we're going to talk, though, the positive side of divorce, right? Because there are gifts of divorce, and maybe you don't see them right now, but they'll come to you. So let's start on this topic of the gifts of divorce and maybe letting go of a relationship that wasn't working.
Yeah. So, as I always say, when you're in the thick of the ick, you don't see any good coming out of out of divorce anytime soon. And what I used to tell my clients was, divorce is like it's this gift that comes wrapped up in poo, and it's stinky and it's smelly and it seems gross, but it's that poo that is going to fertilize the flowers that come to you down the road. And you might not be able to see them right away. And in fact, I can probably guarantee you that you're not going to see the gifts right away. It might take a while. And they're probably not going to come at you all at once, but they are there. They're always there, even if you can't see them at the time. And a lot of times it takes some self-reflection to realize all the gifts that you did get out of a divorce. And to a lot of people, that's just a kind of a startling thought to even have, oh my God, divorce has ruined my life. It's turned everything upside down. I have to start over. I financially, maybe I'm not doing so well right now. What the heck are you talking about? Gifts. I would send all of these gifts back.
I know.
If I could. And I'm going to tell you, no, you won't, because once you realize the gifts that you do have, you're going to cherish them forever and say, thank God this happened.
It makes me remind me.
So the reason I even started. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We stepped on each other and then it broke up. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And the reason I even came up with this as a topic to talk about today is just because the other day I was actually just walking down the steps of my apartment going to work, and I had just been thinking about how it seemed, there's lots of studies saying that women usually get the short end of divorce. They usually end up worse off, at least financially, after a divorce. It's usually harder on the women. Like the guys, they don't, it doesn't hit them quite as hard. So, and I just made me think, like, you know what? I actually am so much better off after my divorce. I'm 10 years out, right? And I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't trade what I have now to go back to my marriage. Mm-hmm. I just wouldn't. And I will tell you that financially, yeah, my life is different, but you know what? It's better anyway. It's not about money. I don't really lack for anything that I want. It's the main thing is I moved from a 2,500 square foot house. I'm in an apartment that's under 1,000 square feet. But you know what? It doesn't matter because I'm like, oh, I can only occupy so much space at any time anyway. We had empty rooms in our house. We had a couple bedrooms that were guest rooms that, nobody was in there. I'm perfectly fine in a smaller space. But the other things that I have are just invaluable to me. And it took a while for me to realize what they were, but once I did, like I said, it's like I would not trade these. I would not give these back just to be with, be in a marriage again.
Amazing. I know.
So yeah, you had touched on this, like, and this is one of the things I thought of, this might help women to think about this too. If you're going through a divorce, no matter who initiated it, you were in a relationship that wasn't working, right? Because you don't break up a marriage if it's going good.
Yeah.
That does not happen. So either one person's really unhappy, or maybe both of you are unhappy, but something's not working there. And a lot of times people, they go to counseling to try to figure this out. And that's wonderful. If you can figure it out, wonderful. But a lot of times there's things are just too broken that it's not going to work anyway. So you might limp along for a little bit, but eventually somebody will pull the trigger and you'll go on this new path. And while it can be scary, and because you don't know what's going to happen, and you like, oh my God, I'm going to be single now. What do I do? I've been like me. I went from, knowing my husband in college, and then we got married after college, and then we were together for 25 years. I had not been single in forever. I didn't know. It was just such a strange feeling. But, part of being single is you get to figure out how to be independent, which is a really interesting journey in itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, a lot of people, like, when you're not in a relationship, when you're not defining yourself as somebody's wife or mother or daughter or whatever, who are you by yourself becomes a big question. And a lot of people don't know how to answer that. Because usually, if there's nobody to bounce your relationship off of,
Yeah.
all you're left with is yourself.
So
So who
true.
are you?
Yeah.
What do you stand for? What are your values? What do you like? How do you want to show up for other people and show up for yourself? Because a lot of times, like, I don't have kids. So when I was going through my divorce, I didn't have any small children or big children to divert my pain from, right? I mean, I didn't have anybody else. It was just suddenly it was just me, which was a very scary feeling. And I had to figure out, who am I just all by myself? Because I'd always been, because I'd been a wife for so long.
Yeah.
I'd been a girlfriend for so long. And now it was just me. But once you figure that out, and I would encourage every woman to spend some time to figure this out. And you don't have to do this all at once. This is not like, okay, on Thursday between 3 and 4, I'm going to sit down and figure out who I am. That's not
No.
that's not
Yeah.
how this works. But little by little,
Yeah.
that's kind of absurd. Um, just little by little, as you're going through your days, ask yourself, oh, what do I want to make for dinner? What do I like? It's not what does my husband like, or what do the kids want to eat. It's like, what do I want to eat? How do I want to treat myself? Um, Maybe even in the way that what kind of clothes do you like to wear? I remember my husband liked, for whatever reason, I think a lot of guys like this. If we were going out, he wanted me to wear like mini skirts and fishnet stocking, that whole look when I was younger. And I'm just like, I'm kind of past that. I was 48 when I ended up getting divorced. I'm like, that's kind of not my thing anymore. I don't want to wear heels anymore. That was a big thing. It's like, I'm not wearing heels because they hurt my feet. And but my husband always like,
Yeah.
no, you can't go around in flats. That doesn't look sexy. Like, well, maybe I'm
Ah.
tired. I'm tired of looking sexy for you.
Yep. Exactly. I'm sorry, but a lot of
Yeah.
women have dealt with that. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a lot of us, all of us, I think, married or not. And it's just, this is, yeah, it's just a shame. I just can't stand that. But see, now I'm getting angry. We go through the anger phase and then we're okay. But yeah,
But I like to talk about this for a minute,
good.
because how much of how we presented ourselves or put ourselves together was for somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Was for a guy. Now, I will tell you that women like to dress for other women, and that's a whole different thing. Uh, but just the expectation of if I'm out with a guy, he wants me to look a certain way because he wants me to be his arm candy.
Yeah.
At first that's flattering when you're young, it's not that big of a deal. But as you get older or it's longer with somebody, it's like, you know, I want to wear jeans and a sweatshirt and sneakers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I just want, and for whatever reason, he thought I should wear like really heavy makeup. Like we grew up in the 80s where, at MTV people, everybody was wearing lots and lots of makeup and, very defined eyes and, bright colors and all that stuff. It's just like, not really my thing. But you can come back to yourself and just figure out, what do I want to do? What am I comfortable with? I don't have to be pleasing anybody else right now. And I just think that's a very healthy thing. Take a step back, find what you like, and take it from there. So let's see what else. Yeah, so I guess my point with that is all at once, but they are definitely there. And I think one of the big ones, like I said, was recognizing that now you're no longer in a relationship that doesn't work, and it frees you up if you choose to welcome in something new. Now, I will preface this by saying, please don't run right out into another relationship right away. Please don't do that because you're not ready to do that. And how people will sometimes say, well, how come I keep attracting or falling for the same kind of guy? Like they start out great, they're all sparkly and funny and stuff, but pretty soon they're criticizing me or they're putting me down or they're not treating me right. Why do I keep attracting these kinds of guys? Until you figure that out, you're going to keep doing that. So take a break, do some work on yourself, whether you go to therapy or work with a divorce coach or somebody, or even just some quiet time, journaling, meditating. Figure out what it is about that kind of person that you are attracted to, and then learn to spot the signs. Okay.
Yep.
So if you want something different, you got to do something different. And that's why I also said maybe treat dating, if you want to date just for fun, like don't be looking for your second husband or anything like that, but look for your green flags and your red flags. And when you see the red flags, practice walking away.
And red flags come out
First,
often, but I think you look past them because you're in the state of like the new, ooh of someone. But they're there early on most times, I think. Yeah.
they're always there. And think about this. Most people are on their best behavior when they're in a new relationship, like right at the beginning. You should be on your best behavior. So if somebody can't treat you right on their best behavior window, which, we say usually 90 days to 6 months, 3 to 6 months is probably a good gauge for when people keep that part of themselves front and center. And after that, it kind of gets tiring and their real personality will start to show through.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we also say date a while before you decide to get married again.
Yeah.
Because you want to make sure you're seeing the real person, not just their best face. But if somebody can't treat you right when they're even in this phase where, everything's supposed to be hunky-dory and roses and romance, that's a huge red flag. That's huge. If they can't treat you right during that
Right.
that window of opportunity, so to speak, please don't think that that's going to get better.
Never will.
No. So take your time. Take your time. Get to know yourself as just your own person, uh, and take notes if you need to, and just practice. And again, here's another thing too. So if you're used to acting a certain way in a relationship, and now suddenly it's you, and now you're kind of just testing out, what do I like, what do I not like? That might feel very weird
Yeah.
to allow yourself the time and the space to do that. But it's like anything else that's new, a new behavior is going to feel weird until you just practice it enough. So give yourself some slack
Beautifully
and
said.
resist the urge just to fall back into old patterns. And be nice to yourself. This is a time where divorce is stressful. There's no way around it. It's stressful. You can make it less stressful. A divorce coach can help you do that, but it's still stressful. So cut yourself a break and be nice to yourself. This is a really good time to pamper yourself. Um, Find out if you like massages. Find out if you like getting manicures if you haven't done that before. Like I'm not really a manicure girl, but occasionally I do like a good French nail. Uh, but just, play. This could be a time to experiment and see what you want to do.
Hmm. Oh my goodness. And you may be like, how did I let this all go? I'm loving my new life. And you will eventually. It just takes that time. And
Yeah.
this is your goal. This is this you want everyone to move on to be happy. You can empathize, you've been there and you've helped so many people do this. And let's talk specifically about the role of, someone like yourself as a divorce coach about how you can really help them, move forward and along, this new chapter in life.
Yeah. And that's one of the very, very favorite things I like to say is you have a new chapter, right? I always say divorce is an ending. It's also a beginning. And if you look at it as the metaphor of a chapter, well, you get to write this,
Yeah.
right? And you can write it however you want. So you can stay in a place where you're stuck and you're bitter and you're mad and you're angry and all these things. But you can also decide, like, you know what, I want to move through this differently. And that means you have a change in your attitude
Mm-hmm.
and your headspace here. And again, I am not saying this is easy. I'm just saying you have a choice. And again, if you're so used to staying in a bad space, when you try to move into a good space, it might not feel comfortable. And you're going to want to go back to what you are comfortable with, even though it's not the healthiest thing. So give yourself some time to acclimate and just to get used to thinking different thoughts. I mean, that's what this comes down to. So, one of the things that I help people do is we do talk about your emotions. It's not at all about stuffing emotions down and letting them fester and then they're going to come out as physical ailments. That is not what I'm talking about. We acknowledge, right? When you acknowledge a feeling, you take away its power because now you can just kind of hold it out there in a more detached way and say, you know what, I am feeling really sad about this, or I'm feeling really mad about this. Uh, but that doesn't have to consume me and it doesn't have to drive my actions. It doesn't have to drive my behavior. So that's a really big distinction. Like I can have all these feelings, talk about them, acknowledge them, and then say, but that doesn't mean that I have to act a certain way on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so powerful. When you really get that, you have a lot of power. And that is one of the gifts of coming through a divorce is you find out that you have so much more power than you've ever given yourself credit for. You are stronger than you ever knew you were because you don't know your strength until you have to use it, right? So as long as everyday life is like hunky dory and butterflies and rainbows,
Yeah.
there's no reason to have to use your powerfulness to get through the day. But when you are facing some adversity, you have to dig down and figure out how am I going to do this? How am I going to get out of the fetal
Great.
position
I
and
need,
off the
yep.
couch and I have to go, and talk to some people here. That's when you find out that you do have strength and you are resilient and you will do this. And again, sometimes this is in looking backwards after you've had some time and space to do this. And then you can look back and say, oh my God, look how far I've come. I would
Oh,
have never been able to do this, or I've never done this before. And look at this. Ah, we can do so much more than what we give ourselves credit to. But I also think it's really, really important to get support, right? So
yep.
you don't, as powerful and wonderful as you are, you don't have to do this by yourself. Get your support, find your girlies, get your good, family around you, join a support group, talk to a divorce coach, get other people in your corner who can help carry this load and maybe even to help point out to you how far you've come. That's what I do too, is because I have a different perspective on things than my clients. I'm objective. I can see how much progress that they've made. I can see how far that they've come when they might not notice it, and I can point that out to them. We can celebrate that together.
Beautiful. And then, it's like I said this thing last time, the Winnie the Pooh quote, but I actually have the whole thing just pulled up. It says, always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you will ever know. I love it.
Oh,
But that
it is. And it's
that
true.
sign,
I'm
my
gonna,
sister gave that to me when I was pregnant because
oh yeah.
I was alone with my first child, and I was just like, all right, I am brave, I'm strong, I'm smart, I could do this, but
You
it's
need
true.
somebody to point that out every once in a while. I'm trying to pull up a quote. Where is it? Oh, here it is. It's on my phone too. And this is one of the things that struck me why I part of the reason I named my coaching practice Crown Coaching. And I love this. It says, she felt something click inside. She suddenly realized she was no longer available for careers, relationships, or thoughts that were not in alignment with her highest expression, desires, and truth. Her
Mm,
worthiness had grown roots, and she was now unshakable in the belief that she was worthy of a life of magic. And she knew that the only person that could give her that was herself. So she put on her crown and got to work.
oh, I love
And I
that.
can't read who it, Elise Sant the,
At least we're trying to give credit where credit's due, but
yeah, I didn't
sometimes you
come up with
can't.
that, but I love that. She put on her crown and got to work.
Oh, that
And we all
is
have a crown. Everybody has a crown. And part of what we do is part of what I do is help you find your crown if you've lost it, or if you think you don't have one, and put that on your head and feel the power of it. Because when you wear a crown, you put off a different kind of energy. And
yeah,
so you attract different kinds of things. But we all have crowns and we're all worthy of a crown and we're all worthy of a life that reflects that.
beautiful. Beautifully said. Oh my goodness. All right, we still have a few more minutes left in the show, and
Okay.
I want also people to know, my divorce diva. It's crown coaching, hence very titled, very apparent. We're talking about putting the crown on, and that's how you got the name. I'm assuming. Did you know? How did you name the business Crown Coaching?
Because this is fine. I go to a networking group for women. We're a small group and it's called Working Women Connection. But for us, we use that to stand for We Wear Crowns. And we actually wear tiaras during our meeting. And it's so fun. It just puts a different energy in the room. Um, and I was all about wearing a crown anyway. I worked for a different company before this, where I was a coach. I was a communication coach for moms divorcing narcissists, and I taught a Zoom class every week on different ways to handle this. And I always wore a tiara. And I encourage my students to wear tiaras too. And usually the majority of them would. And if it didn't have one, I would say go on Amazon, search for crowns. They have them in all price ranges, like $7 up to, if you want real stuff, that's a different story. So, but buy a crown or make one. I had people one lady, she took bright pink Post-it notes and made a crown because she didn't want to be in class that day without her crown. Other ones had little girls who had crowns from like Disney World. They would go and put those on. So we were all about the crown. And then after I got out of that, and then I found this group, I'm like, oh my gosh, they are my people because we wear crowns. And it's just, I just believe in the metaphor of it so much. And there's power in having a crown on your head, whether it's physically apparent or not. I mean, I would tell people even before they were going to go into court, like, put your crown on. Remember who you are, right?
Wow.
Remember who you are because we were all born with crowns.
Oh, I love that positiveness in you. And we're going to wear our crowns out today. And, when it comes to this process of
Yep.
working with a coach, normally how long does it take for someone to go through the process? I mean, I'm assuming it's different for everyone, so maybe it's not the best question, but normally, on an average, if you can help someone,
Yeah.
guide us through.
Yeah. Average, maybe like 6 to 8 sessions. It depends actually kind of like when you come to me, because some people come when they're just thinking about divorce. different conversations you have
Yeah.
than if you're in the thick of the ick versus even when you're done and now you're dealing with co-parenting issues, maybe even after the ink has dried. But let's say you come to me, you are in the middle of it, and you find me and you're like, I just need I just need some help with making proposals and getting through either mediation or working with attorneys. Can you help me with that? Yes, I can. Or let's say you're done, but now you want to envision, like, my favorite part is, what do you want life to look like? So typically 4 to 8 sessions. It's not a forever thing. Although if you need more than that, certainly can do that. And some people, like, they'll do maybe 8 sessions and then they taper off for a while, and then they'll contact me if they just need maybe a one-off, like something really stressful is coming up, or they've hit a snag. As the parenting thing goes on for a long time, and maybe things go smooth for a while, and then maybe something changes, and then they need some help with just maybe a particular problem, something like that. So the answer to your question is average, maybe 8. But it's really individualized. It just depends on where you are and what you need.
Beautiful. And you're here for everyone. And if we want to reach out to you directly, how do we do so?
mydivorcediva.com. My contact information is there, and about my services as well. And I would so love to work with all you beautiful ladies. Not all of you, that would really drown me, but
Got it.
but please, if you think you could use some help with finding your crown and putting it back on, and remembering who you are, and getting some good strategies on how to deal with getting you through the divorce with as little problems as possible,
Yeah.
I'm happy to help you. I'm here.
Thank you so much. Pleasure having you back as always. Always great speaking with you. And
You too,
looking
Jill.
forward to the next topic of conversation as always. And hope you have a great day. And let's enjoy it. Let's be thankful, be grateful. We are alive and well. And one thing my mom always said, my mom was, unfortunately, she passed 8 years ago, but she always wanted to divorce my dad, but she was too scared. Bad relationship, horrible. And the one thing that always held her back was her home. It was my house. I made this beautiful house and my everything, and I understand that. And then same thing happened with her sister, but her sister didn't care about the house. She was in a bad relationship. She left. She started living in a small apartment. She kept telling my mom, it's not going to matter. You trust me. I don't miss my house. I'm happier. Like, my mom could never get past that. So I know there's a lot of women out there probably say the same thing, as you work so hard for this your whole life and you may have to move, which I can understand and empathize, but isn't your happiness worth it? Go visit a friend that has a big house.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about that next time.
All right.
The house is a huge issue.
I know. It is. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, Jill.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind, like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind, like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama, like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.